Squadcast, a supporter-driven show dedicated to LA Galaxy news, information, and opinions. Here's your hosts, Ed Rodriguez and Chris Zero Cool Tucker.
I can hear you. Yeah, no, I'm just worried because you guys are all remote and I'm trying to, not totally falling apart. The volume level's a little low probably though for the YouTubers. I'll be trying to adjust the volume for the YouTubers.
Could just get a little whisk butter.
He's very close. Hey. Can I mute? I wonder if I can mute him on here.
And then Ed is right in the middle, where he's like, "Look, please stop talking to me about politics."
Yeah, I think
I
I'm
don't
like
care who wins.
I think I'm like most Americans. I'm just so exhausted with it all. So
You're not even gonna vote, so it doesn't matter.
vote.
Yeah, wait till I feel like you gotta wait till a wrestler tells you to go out and vote. If The Rock comes out and is like, Ed, vote, then you'll show up.
Whatever The Rock tells me to do, I'm going to do it.
I can't wait to vote for him for president.
Because he's, first of all, scary.
Mm-hmm.
He's all muscly.
Right.
2,
champion. People's champion.
People's champion.
Don't forget that one.
3, I mean, he'll just give me the people's elbow and then just make me vote for whoever he wants me to anyways.
All that seems fair.
Yeah.
All that seems fair.
If someone came to my house and, like, people, like, rock bottom me, I'd be like, you got my vote. God damn it, you got my vote.
Yeah, I get that, man. I mean, you know, it would be nice if he could just ask you instead of, you know, putting you through pain of the most electrifying move. And it's not the second most electrifying move. It's I don't know if you understand this, Ed. It's not like a top 5 most electrifying move in sports entertainment. It is the singular most electrifying move in sports and entertainment, and then later in sports entertainment.
Hey, Benjamin, are you paying attention to the YouTube chat, by the way?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
Have you still not seen WrestleMania yet, Chris?
I think I've reached this point where I'm like, I'm not gonna see it.
Okay.
At some point, I still haven't seen the Firefly Funhouse match. I still haven't seen, what is it called? The Great Boneyard match. I've heard both are industry ending, so I can't wait.
Those are the 2 things that you need to watch, man.
Like, I've heard that's literally all I need to see.
If anything, those are just take the hour out of your day and watch those 2 matches.
They're a half hour each?
Quote unquote matches. Like 25 minutes each, probably.
Wow. Okay, yeah, I mean, I'll see it at some point. I look forward to WrestleMania. It's just as, like, you know, I don't know. Can you explain this to me? How come none of, like, the podcasts or the YouTube pages or, like, anything else that I follow, no one calls it the coronavirus? They all keep calling it a global situation. Is there, like, a demonetization? Is that a word? For saying coronavirus? Or do you know any idea what the deal is with that?
I mean, I'd rather them say that than something else, like,
it's
you know, call it the Chinese virus, the China flu, or whatever they call it now.
Well, yeah, we don't talk politics here. I don't know if you heard. Racism is a political issue.
Well, it's just being an asshole. Being an asshole.
It used to be the rule.
Yeah.
But anyway, at some point, yes, I will watch. I just don't know when I'll get around to it. Final Fantasy VII came out, man. What do you expect? I got time for this.
You'll find some time to watch, like, the 1998 third group round of games. Fucking doesn't fucking matter.
I watched Croatia versus Nigeria from the group stages of the 2018 World Cup today.
I mean,
I'm watching.
That literally could have been the Boneyard match and the John Cena and Bray Wyatt match right there.
Yes, but I enjoyed the Nigeria-Croatia game a whole lot more than I could possibly enjoy those matches.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
That good.
It was pretty amazing.
All right. You know, let me not say anything until I get to watch it. By next week, I will have seen it, and we won't forget to talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. Should we get into the show, or?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it.
We're gonna try to be a little more galaxy centric this week, right? Less coronavirus, less freewheeling.
Well, we got a unsolicited email from the listeners, which was fun.
I like that.
We always appreciate those, and especially stuff that, you know, you guys want to listen to. We always love to talk about it. So if you ever want to send us a question, it's riotSquadcast@gmail.com. Send us your questions. We will read them over, and then especially right now when we have a lot of time to read emails and respond to them. So you send those over, and so today we got a email from listener Michael, who sent us over a couple questions actually, but we're going to get to the first one today, and then we're probably going to get to the other ones on another show because they all seem like pretty time consuming, especially if you need to like look into like research and stuff. So this first one we're going to do is going to be can you rank all these prominent players in their position in order by their all-time greatness as a Galaxy player? So he omitted some players. Like, I know, Chris, you noticed that he omitted, I think, like Van Gargan and Belcher as like right back options.
Well, yeah, his basis was, and this is just going off of what was in the email, and then we kind of dimmed as necessary. But we're basing it. The names that we're going to mention are strictly the ones that are mentioned in his email, and we're going to go from there. If you would like a more complete list, you're more than welcome to send your email in to show@riotSquadcast.com and get it clarified, to ask the question the way you want to do it, but we're going to go ahead and answer the question the way he wanted to do it. His criteria, so not ours, his criteria must have played 2 full seasons with the Galaxy to make the ranking, which is why Dan Gargan stood out to me, which is why Will Felcher stood out to me.
Well, and it's funny because one goalkeeper stands out to me in that.
David Kramer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I did do a small honorary mentions list alongside it. So for people who didn't quite meet the qualification, who I thought deserved, some notoriety, or just didn't quite make it anyway. I wanted to toss in, but would you like to start? I mean, do you want to go first, Ben? Do you want to go first?
So yeah, so the first ones that he has us wanting to rank are these 5 goalkeepers: Jorge Campos, Kevin Hartman, Donovan Ricketts, Josh Saunders, and Jaime Pinedo. Now that was
a who's who, if you will.
And that's why with Jaime Pinedo, especially, that stood out to me because wasn't he only here like a year and a half technically?
No, I think Jaime Pinedo should be. Well, no, you might be right. He may have only been a year and a half.
Because he left in the summer.
Yeah, remember he wanted that raise real quick. We gave him a raise and then he wanted another raise.
Pinedo's 3 years.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was 2.5. Yeah.
He played. Okay. He played 9 games at the end of the 2013 season. Played all of the 2014 season, and then played about half of the 2015 season. It technically spans over 3 seasons, but you could probably give him the full 2.
All right, so shall I go first with my picks?
Sure. Do you want to go your number 1 first? Do you want to hit your whole 5?
Yeah. Do you want to hit all 5, or you want to go like
hit
1, 2?
Just knock all 5.
All right, so
we'll debate the order.
At number 5, I have Jorge Campos.
Okay.
Obviously a standout with name recognition.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately,
why is that?
I mean,
why is a guy who played 30 games 25 years ago? Why is he strangely? Why is a guy who played half of his first season games? Why is he such a notable name? It doesn't make me. Difficult.
In Mexican football, he's what, top 3 most recognized player?
Sure. We're talking about the American League, right?
No. And so
I'm just checking. I'm just an American patriot over here. I don't know what you want from me.
And as a little sidetrack, there was the Galaxy put out that video of him demanding a Ferrari after his first home game.
Let's tack that on at the end. Let's tack that on at the end.
So yeah, I mean, nothing really. Spent a year and a half, 2 years
Mm-hmm.
with us. Went back to Mexico, then came back the following year, played with Chicago. So
if I can just add on, Campos is my number 5 as well. I mean, it's the most of that list. It's the most blatantly obvious selection. There are some hard choices in a top 5, even with that list, but I mean that's a guy begging for 5th place.
Because you got to go with championships. You got to go with
there's pedigree.
Pedigree, yes.
There's pedigree.
Unfortunately, those early years, a lot of it went unanswered, and especially a lot of those great teams that we had early on in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
That was my number 5. Ben, who's your number 5? Or you look like you wanted to.
Well, no, I was just gonna say my number 5. I know, man, it's gonna be controversial, but I got Kevin Hartman in number 5.
We can skip you right now.
Because you hate Kevin Hartman, though.
I do. It's a personal bias thing. That's all.
That's at DT Radio Ben.
Yeah. Play him the next time you see him.
Don't email the show because he doesn't read them, and don't tweet me because I don't care. Yeah. At DT Radio Ben.
At Zero Cool Ben.
Everybody knows my deep affection for a young Kevin Hartman.
I think in any age, Kevin Hartman.
Number 5, Tuck.
I DM'd Kevin Hartman.
Tuck,
Kevin Hartman and I were DMing back and forth last week, and I was like,
and the smile.
I'm on a first name basis with the sports hero.
Just the way you light up when you talk about that, Tuck.
Don't care.
All right, so who's your number 4 then, Tuck?
I put my list is all down. Let's see. My number 4 was. Well, this is Ed's turn. I mean, you want me to leap in?
Well, I thought we were just gonna go round and round since we all.
Yeah. I put Jaime Pinedo as my number 4.
Really? Ooh. Oh, I would almost rather hear your explanation. Than explain my number 4.
I think Jaime Pinedo could have been club legend, like absolutely club legend, had he not bitched out and demanded more money halfway through the season.
Wow. Who did you have it for, Ben?
At 4, I had Josh Saunders.
Do you want to give your reasoning?
I'm sorry, I wasn't done with my point.
Oh, so I apologize.
Actually, no, I'm
This is
sorry.
why I don't lead.
No,
This
I'm
is why
sorry.
I don't lead.
Actually, no, I had Campos. I had Campos in number 4. My bad. I had my list wrong. I had
But
Campos in number 4.
I want to go before everyone starts like yelling at me and twittering up their phones right now. Um, Pinedo's probably one of our best goalkeepers we've ever had in terms of skill. But I mean, we could have been. It could have been many years of greatness, and since he's left, it's just been a non-stop roller coaster of absolute crap goalkeepers.
So it reminds me, if I mean Ben is he's seemingly distracted in a way right now, so I don't want to push to him. But if I can go with my number 4, if you don't
He's
mind.
about to drop trout on our Zoom.
Yeah, he put a password so we didn't have to worry about knowing it. Then he's gonna end up showing it. So Ben, do you want to do? He's still busy. So
no,
I
had my
Do you want to explain Josh Saunders?
No.
Campos at 4.
Yeah, just it was close between Campos. Honestly, I thought it was close between Campos and Hartman. For me, I went with Campos because like Ed said, I know I almost killed Ed. I went with Campos just because over Hartman just because of the personal bias. That's all. But like I said, I think the other 3.
But it's funny.
I think just let me say. I think the other 3 stand out. The other 3 you could definitely say stand out. So.
So I have Jaime Pinedo at 4th.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was hard. It was controversial. It's hard. On pure talent, on raw talent, Jaime Pinedo is easily the best keeper we've ever had. It's not even close. It's not remotely close.
And that's what I was trying to get. That's what I was trying to get away while before everyone got mad and like enraged us on online and social media.
That's why I let you go first because I want them to get all tweeting and then I want to rope them back in and have it make a little sense.
Yeah.
On pure athleticism, or not athleticism, sorry, on pure talent, Jaime Pinedo is not touched. He's so far and away above everyone else. It's not even close.
I mean, you'll never get over that Vancouver
double save.
Double save. Oh.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous.
The problem is the way the question was posed to us is with your own set of judgments and how you want to categorize it. Where do these guys kind of fall in? Asking for, I'm all get your money. I got no problem with anyone getting your money when you can get it. But asking for a new contract after 6-7 months is if all the stories that came out were accurate. Asking for a new contract 6-7 months after your last contract, when the head coach famously doesn't negotiate contracts in the middle of the season, and he still negotiates a contract in the middle of the season to benefit you, to come back and that was the leverage. And so from a player standpoint, I totally understand, trying to make that move and trying to get that money for your family. I completely get it. But looking at it from my end on the fan side, like it's just detrimental. Like it just ended out kind of hurting the organization. And thank you for the championship. Thank you for the ring. Nothing, all due respect. It's kind of the thing that's always going to keep him above Campos for me, even though it's relatively close in games played. I think I don't remember exactly how many Campos had, but we almost have it all. Like we were almost locked up at that spot for 5, 6, 7 years. So that's kind of a shame. But yeah, I got to have Pinedo down in 4th.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think he could have been an absolute club legend and no doubt like a number 1 all time. Had it been, not for that winning a contract and midway through a season.
It all worked out. He could have overtaken Hartman. I genuinely believe he could have overtaken Kevin Hartman.
Absolutely.
And
I mean, you see, he's still beloved by the fans, and now he's kind of grown into his own of like coming into like the fans and like having this relationship. It's actually really nice.
And when I say overtaking Kevin Hartman, I mean for logical people like us.
Yeah.
Bend where Pinedo comes in, by far and away above Kevin Hartman. Apparently, that's a whole other situation. But for us logical people, I think there was a genuine chance for him to become, a best ever, and it's a shame kind of how it ended.
and that's where I'll go into my number 3 pick. Which, with that sentiment of he could have been one of the best ever, how it not ended, and it's Donovan Ricketts. Donovan Ricketts coming number 3. I feel that first iteration of Donovan Ricketts. I mean, the dude's like he looks his arm span is literally like the whole goal. Like if I was a striker going against that dude, I'd be absolutely afraid. Like, how am I going to get past this guy?
Donovan Ricketts version 1.0, man.
Amazing.
That was something.
Amazing.
That was something else.
Made of glass, but amazing.
He did give us probably my favorite Riot Squad chant in vitamin D deficiency. Ricketts.
I just had to do a report in my nutrition class, and the the vitamin that I had to research was vitamin D.
I always remember, like, whenever they're like, what is it? If you don't get enough vitamin D, do you know what happens? I'm like, yeah, a clean sheet. Because Donovan Ricketts is coming to get you.
Then didn't we meet him in Seattle in the 09 Cup?
And he got hurt in that game too.
No, was it? It was a game against. It was like a preseason game against TJ.
The only preseason game against TJ I remember is the one down in San Diego.
San Diego, yeah.
Oh, then I blocked that out entirely based on the company I traveled with.
I think he was hurt and he was in like his arms in a cast.
That sounds accurate.
And he was like walking down like some, tennis court, being guided by like a Galaxy.
That makes sense.
Or something like that.
Okay with that. What about you, Ben? Who do you have at 3?
Hey, let me just throw on Tuck.
Go ahead.
Everything is solid here now, and if people want to call in and give their tops, we can take calls.
Yeah, you can call us in at 562-641-5277. I'm going to go ahead and warn you now. Might not work. You might crash the whole show, but we'll give it a shot if you're interested. 562-641-5277, 562-641-LARS.
If you're not living on the edge, you're not living, right?
That's the way you live your life, Benjamin.
And I'm trying my best to keep up with the YouTube live chat. If you go to youtube.com/Riot Squadcast, we are live tonight. If you're listening to this later on, it'll be too late for that. But anyways,
yeah. But if you're in there now and want to call, go ahead. Ben, what's your number 3?
I agree with you guys. Donovan Ricketts was my number 3.
Ooh.
Again.
Ooh.
Well, yeah. Wait, because you agree with me.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought Tuck was agreeing with you.
No,
okay.
No.
No, and I agree with you. I thought he could have been fantastic, just a little too injury prone.
And that second stint just kind of dilutes his first.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I mean, it's one of those things where you look back on it and you remember the greatness too. You know what I mean? I mean, his last stint was crappy. It was Cudicino crappy, but it was like,
Ooh, I mean,
okay, maybe not Cudicini crap.
Yeah, that's come on.
I mean, that last stint was bad, Ed. That last stint was bad.
Yeah, but nothing's as bad as Cudicini, man.
That's true.
I take a feeble.
You take
Cronin over.
You take You take Wicks over Cudicini.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Cannon?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. What are you talking about?
I don't know.
I don't think there's a goalkeeper that I wouldn't take over Cudicini.
Cudicini is the worst. The worst.
What about? Oh man.
Probably yeah. Cudicini is the worst goalkeeper we've had.
Who was the other the white guy that was with Wicks?
Steve Cronin.
Yeah, Cronin.
Cronin was much better than Cudicini.
I would take the third string, Stephen Fries or whatever his name was.
Oh.
Played like no minutes.
So
Ben Fries?
Something like that, yeah.
Tuck, is Cudicino really the worst goalkeeper in Galaxy history?
Who can you name that's worse?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you, man. You're the historian.
Oh, no. I mean, he is the worst. He is unequivocally the worst.
All right, so I got Donovan Ricketts at number 3.
Okay.
Can I'll just throw it there, Tuck. You can give your maybe you can give your 3 and 2, because I'm going to go ahead and say the reason why I have him at number 3 and not number 2 is because
I would assume we're all going to flip flop on 3 and 2. Like that's I imagine.
Well, I think me and you might have the same number 1.
Yeah. Oh,
you guys will both have the same number 1.
Yeah.
I'm not a Ben.
Yeah, my number 1 is based on pure talent, but mostly I got Saunders ahead of Ricketts, just because of accomplishments. And maybe I like coked up goalies.
Yeah, I've got. I'll do my 3 and 2, and then we can all wrap up on our ones.
Yeah.
I've got Josh Saunders at 3. I thought he was outstanding for what he was asked to do. Won the rings. He won. He got an 11 ring. He's got a 12 ring. He went to the final in 9. It's not talked about very often, but he was technically on the roster for the 2005 MLS Cup win. Like, he'd been around a while.
So he got no 05 ring then.
He has no appearances. He has no appearances in 05 or 06, so I doubt he got a ring. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. But
yeah, because even Dason Robinson got like a minute, so he got
one appearance. He got a substitute appearance for like 2 minutes at the last game.
Got his ring, baby.
So he got a ring.
He got the party. So I don't know if he got anything for the 05. I assume he didn't, but yeah, I mean, here for the 05 championship, here for the collapse from 6, 7, and 8, here for the 09 final, here to finally, I mean, here for the 2010 team that should have won, here for the 2011 and 2012 teams that did win. He's, got minutes, he got appearances. I should at least say, I think he only had 1 game and 1 start in 2010, the season we should have won, where we could have gone back to back to back. But, you get 27 starts in the 2012 championship team and 18 starts in the 2011 championship team. Like, I like Saunders a lot. He's got a warm place in my heart. It's genuinely upsetting to watch us promote people like Jorge Campos who didn't, legitimately didn't do that much outside of being a big name, coming to a new league, cashing a huge paycheck where he appeared to have a ton of star power. So yay, good for him. But you have a guy like Josh Saunders who, had his demons obviously, but worked hard and was in the organization for a long time. Kind of get, this is going to be wrong. I shouldn't say this, Ed. I understand in advance I shouldn't say this, but like, Josh Saunders gets Chris Benoit with the Galaxy.
Jesus Christ.
But am I wrong? Like, we don't discuss that guy at all. Like, we talk about Ricketts, we talk about Pinedo, we talk about Hartman,
well, because
Campos.
Here's the thing: is
we never talk about Josh Saunders. It's crazy.
Josh Saunders is kind of vanilla. Like, when you think about
cocaine is not vanilla, baby.
No. If anyone's like lived that LA lifestyle, it was Josh Saunders. Like, that dude was coking it up, drinking it up.
And this other guy we're going to get to in a little bit. This other guy, it's like a little bit further up the field, we'll get to later.
All right, so yeah, my number 2 was Saunders. I enjoyed the hell out of Saunders. You want to go? So obviously,
that's right. My number 2. My number 2 was Ricketts. Like, I don't care what you say, Ricketts version 1.0. Like, if you look at Pinedo for pure skill and talent, Donovan Ricketts is raw athleticism. I mean, a guy who could leap from one post to the other. As you said, wingspan like Jordan. I mean, like a bird, is crazy. Injury records make it really, really, really hard. But in all honesty, for me, the injury record's the only thing keeping him from 1. And then Ricketts version 2.0, obviously. I think he wouldn't have left if it wasn't us needing to move on account of the injuries, which is going to give him a leg up over Pinedo. He didn't seem to have the off-field issues Saunders did, which gives him a leg up over Saunders. And won a championship. Like, I genuinely don't ask much more than that, and was ready to answer Bruce's call when he needed him later.
And the dude had a cannon for an arm.
He had a cannon for, yeah.
I mean, I remember him having an assist by throwing the ball like 60 yards.
He didn't have an assist, but
wasn't it? Oh no, I thought it was.
The last see that we just had this. The last Galaxy assist from a goalkeeper was in 2003, 2004 to Ruiz. But I mean, he probably got a second assist or 2 out of it.
The MLS/hockey assist.
I mean, it's practically. I mean, it was almost a guaranteed goal kick every time he needed to distribute the ball out. It was insane. Big, huge fan of Ricketts. I wish it worked out better. I wish the injuries didn't happen the way they did, but that's part of the game.
And then Benjamin,
before you guys get into your Kevin Hartman love fest, my number 1 was Jaime Pinedo, just based on pure talent. The guy was amazing.
This is the thing, and I get into this discussion on Twitter a lot. Saying Jaime Pinedo is your favorite Galaxy goalkeeper is not crazy. All you're shooting for is a reasonable answer. saying Jaime Pinedo is your favorite goalkeeper, Ricketts is your favorite keeper, Hartman is your favorite keeper. Those aren't crazy statements. Like, you may disagree, and that's okay. Like, I disagree with you about Pinedo. But someone who's good at negotiating, someone who's good at explaining their position could probably bring me in. Like, I'm Hartman is my number one. Let's not
I was gonna say nothing's ever going to take Hartman out of the number one spot.
Hartman's my number one in a lot of aspects of my life, but on talent, Pinedo, sure, not a problem. On athleticism and talent and ability, maybe not injury record, Ricketts. And during a very tumultuous time where we're pressured to a point where it's like, hey, we need to win, and we need to win now. And Ricketts is the guy to go do that for you. Pinedo was a guy to eventually do it for you for Robbie Keane's last year, and or not last year, but Robbie Keane's last championship, very important year. These things aren't crazy statements, and that's the goal. What you're shooting for is, not saying Joe Cannon, with all due respect. You answer Joe Cannon, you look crazy.
Yeah, if you answer anyone that was before the 09 season, so from 06 to 09, then you might be wrong.
Your number one, you want anything you need to speak on, but
Kevin Hartman, growing up, really, I've been watching the team for a long time, but really paying attention around the 2000s, early 2000s. And I mean, Hartman was the dude. I mean, he didn't look like your because nowadays your goalkeepers are like super athletic, in shape. Hartman looked like he'd go out with you to have a beer after the game and have a barbecue. So I mean, growing up those times, Hartman was the man, dude. El Gato, dude. I'll always be number one.
So Ed, you he was great in the early 2000s, but do you remember how bad he was at the end? Just like how you were talking about Ricketts. Do you remember how bad Kevin Hartman was at the end?
No, it's rose tinted glasses, man. He was amazing. He should have been a World Cup goalie, and unfortunately that he had, sorry ass Tim Howards and in front of him. So I don't know. Whatever.
Tuck, I got a question for you too.
Is it as ridiculous as the last question you just asked, Ed?
Maybe it's okay. It's not Hartman related. It's just a what if. So suppose it's not raining in 96 and the Galaxy end up with that championship. Does that change?
How do you make, I can't believe I just watched that game. How do you make a team play in a hurricane?
I know.
Win that game.
That was literally,
win that game if it's not
absolutely.
raining.
If it's not, yeah. Well, even if it's a light downpour, I mean, that was outrageous. The fact that we played that game.
If we weren't in a position where the league has to say, you have to play.
Yeah.
We've marketed it. We've got our time slot. We're ready to go. It has to be this game. It has to be this time. It has to be right now. If that's not the situation and that game gets rescheduled, we win that game. I think we win that game.
I think we win that game too. But so if we do, does that change anything in regards to Campos?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He wins a rank. It would knock him above.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would knock him above Pinedo. It would keep him at 5.
Yeah. So it doesn't change.
Probably keep him at 5. No, it wouldn't change anything.
That's
he would be a strong 5. Where right now, it's weird because it's the past, so it's done. But you say, oh, say Joe Cannon won a rank, and Campos didn't get one, but does it move Campos to 6? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For me, being a Mexican superstar signing for the Galaxy in 1996 isn't enough to move you up a list. I get that there are a lot of people that's a really, really big deal for, and I'm just not one of them.
But had we won the first ever cup,
all of those people should be enshrined.
Yeah.
All those people should be tattooed on my face like Tekashi 69. If we beat United and come on.
I think it makes a difference.
George, get a hold of the 96 roster and Tucker's face.
96 instead of 69. Let's make it happen, George. This is if I give you my argument for Hartman. Ben, and I know you guys. I need you to be don't be Ben. Don't be producer Ben.
Don't be you for a second.
Be normal. Be you when we're not recording. If someone came to you, if someone who worked for the Galaxy came to you and asked your honest opinion and said, we're going to build a statue for a goalkeeper who's going to get it, and you want to make sure that you're not enraging the Galaxy fan base, who are you picking?
Kevin Hartman.
Then we have our answer. Like I feel like that's a pretty universal. Like that was my context. I was like, who's the guy where if someone from the Galaxy texted me and said we need to pick a goalkeeper to get a statue, who should get it? We need to pick a goalkeeper who's going to go on, what is it called, the Ring of Honor. We're going to pick a goalkeeper who's going on the Wall of Legends.
Okay, but
who goes there?
But if the Galaxy actually were to pick a goalkeeper, not ask you, if they were just to pick a goalkeeper, who are they taking?
Campos.
Campos.
But it'd be a statue of him in a Ferrari.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you could make a decent argument for, I mean, it's got to be Kevin Hartman, but you could honestly, what Josh Saunders and Donovan Ricketts did, I mean, what Josh Saunders did was great. The back-to-back cups, I mean, he's probably, would you call him underrated?
Saunders?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
The fact that the Galaxy never talk about him.
He didn't happen. Like it's Josh Saunders. If you're looking at coverage of the things they're covering, so they're covering the last 25 years of the Galaxy, right? Presumably the Beckham years and the back-to-back championships are pretty important.
Yeah.
Have you heard Josh Saunders' name mentioned at all? Like he started one of them. Like he started in the final for one of them. You don't hear his name mentioned at all. No, and you know what, Ben? I'll tell you, I don't. If I can quickly, I don't think you can make a logical argument that because of the championship, Saunders deserves a statue. I love Josh Saunders. I think he was great. When you start handing out statues for being a starting keeper for one championship game, you begin to devalue the worth of statues and other commemorations like that. I think someone like Hartman who had all the titles and all the accolades and all that stuff, like that makes a little more sense to me.
So it's time and grade a lot with Hartman. I mean, he was there a long time.
It's time served. Yeah, served is huge. Time served is huge.
That makes sense.
It's hard to say that because we're never going to give a statue to Pete. So
Vianus?
Yeah.
No, because it's time. it's a mixture of time served and
the quality
other elements of your life.
Yeah.
Other quality of play. I did do a quick. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was just, if you can't give a. I mean, you saw the guy to. I mean, Kevin Hartman, 2 MLS Cup championships, 1 MLS Goalkeeper of the Year, 1 Best 11, 4-time All-Star, and 3-time Galaxy Player of the Year.
Yeah, and Chris Tucker's personal best friend. I did a short honor.
Chris Tuck, you need a statue.
Chris Tucker's first choice in who was gonna do his wedding reception.
I couldn't turn it down. I did ask Kevin Hartman to perform my wedding, and he still hasn't said no. So I don't know. Maybe I divorce her and try it all over again.
Would you have ditched Ed last minute, like
for Kevin Hartman?
Yeah,
I would have killed Ed last minute for Kevin Hartman.
I would have told him.
Ed would have buried himself. He's like, don't worry about it, Tuck. I'm taking care of myself.
I'll go.
See you.
I'm gonna go take care of this. Don't you worry about it. I got it.
Show me the videotape.
I did a short honorary mentions list. And I'm not going to argue on anybody's behalf, but I tacked on just for goalkeepers. I tacked on Brian Rowe, who I thought was notable, but not quite in that upper echelon, but best of the rest.
Tuck, I say, is this in any sort of order?
No, not at all. Best of the rest for Brian Rowe and Matt Reese. I thought deserved a shout out. He was Kevin Hartman's long number 2 for a long time, and then finally kind of branched out on his own and made his own name for himself and got to a title match. I don't know if you've seen it, but I thought Brian Rowe and Matt Reese deserved some plaudits as stewards of the club.
All right, let's move on to the right backs. Chris, so I'll name the right backs.
Right.
So what Michael sent us was Ezra Hendrickson, Chris Albright, Sean Franklin, and AJ De La Garza.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to include Dan Gargan because he played 2 seasons, but we'll leave that to the side.
This is Michael's list, so we don't.
I'm down to leave it for Michael's list. So at number 4, I don't know if this will be controversial. I put Ezra down at 4.
Ooh.
Am I wrong? Do you feel like I'm wrong there? I'm willing to be. This is the thing. I'm tossed up on where to place 2 guys, and they're both legacy guys. They both deserve the credit. you're still top 4. No disrespect, but at a position,
you're 4-4.
But of a position where there's been a lot of rotation over the years, you're still top 4.
So Tuck, let me ask you this: what do we always talk about as most important in order to be considered a Galaxy legend?
A legend, you got to win a ring.
Okay, so if you look at this list, I'd say putting Hendrickson at number 4 kind of makes sense, right? Because Albright got a ring.
Yeah.
And obviously Sean Franklin and AJ De La Garza both got.
But you're really going to argue that you're going to put Chris Albright over Ezra?
Albright got the double, man. Right.
You know what? I'm actually going to slide Albright down to 4, and I'm going to put Ezra at 3.
See, I'm going to go opposite, just based on the fact that Albright was on that team that got the double. He's got the cup.
And where are you at? I'm gonna explain mine.
I had Albright at 4 and Ezra at 3.
Albright should be at 4. Ezra should be at 3.
Yeah.
And you know what? Because you might have something different than me. What's the thing that shifts Ezra one spot up versus Albright?
I think
Ezra. These guys, Chris Albright, Ezra Hendrickson, educate. Go ahead.
Ezra just had a striker's body as a right back. Like also
goals one season.
And Chris Albright also a forward. Because that gives him a little advantage though, is that Chris Albright was a forward, and then converted to a right back. But I still give it to Ezra, man. I feel like you could put Ezra on any position in that field, and he would just dominate.
Ben, what about you? You have Ezra where? You have Ezra dead last, right? 4th?
Yeah. Well, I mean, dead last is like.
You had him where I had him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Ezra does have 1 cup. He's got 1 Galaxy Player of the Year. I mean, but Albright, 2 MLS Cup championships, 1 Best 11, 3-time MLS All-Star, and 1-time LA Galaxy Defender of the Year.
You know what Ezra Hendrickson has that Chris Albright doesn't have? And it's the same thing that Kevin Hartman has that none of the other goalkeepers had?
What's that?
A 2000 CONCACAF Champions Cup winner's medal. Can't touch it. All things being equal.
What do you say now, Ben?
All things being equal, CONCACAF Champions Cup gets the
notch.
But it's not equal. But everything's not equal. Henderson, 1 MLS Cup championship, 1 LA Galaxy Player of the Year. Chris Albright, 2 MLS Cup championships, 1 MLS Best 11, 3-time MLS All-Star, and 1 LA Galaxy Defender of the Year.
Where are you looking this up?
I know it sounds to me that an LA Galaxy Player of the Year, it sounds better than a Defender of the Year, but whatever.
I'm not sure this is entirely accurate.
Well, this is all stuff that Michael sent us. Michael sent us a pretty thorough list of accomplishments and all that stuff. Anyways,
I would hate to challenge the man.
We're going off
my purview.
So
it's like Ezra's got a supporter shield. Ezra's got 2 supporter shields. Ezra's got the 02 Cup. Just missed out on the 05 Cup by about a year or so. And he has the 2001 U.S. Open Cup, and the CONCACAF Champions Cup winner. I don't know. I'm not trying to change minds. I'm just saying, Ben. That's all.
I know, man. Albright's got the 2 MLS Cups, the 02 and the 05. He's got the 05 Open Cup.
But he ain't got that. But he ain't.
No, I feel you.
He doesn't have that. That one thing that separates me from 99% of the clubs in Major League Soccer. He doesn't have that. He ain't got that one. That's for me, sir. It's just my list. Man. Just for my list. So for my list, I got Albright, Ezra. I got Albright, Ezra. Ben, you got Ezra, Albright.
Yeah.
Eddie, you're with me, right?
Yeah. I got.
Damn right.
I got Albright and Ezra 4 and 3. All right. So Tuck, who's your number 2 then?
I think we're probably all going to be the same here.
Oh, well then why don't you go first, then, Ben?
Yeah, who's your number 2 then, Ben?
I got Sean Franklin, then AJ De La Garza.
You're out of your mind.
Out of your mind.
Hey,
you're absolutely wrong.
I'm not saying that necessarily on talent wise. I'm just saying I like
you're hopped up. You're hopped up on goofballs.
Sean Franklin
by far the better player, but
is a better right back and a better center back than AJ De La Garza is. He won Rookie of the Year at center back.
Man, he won it 12 years ago. What are you talking about?
You can only go for it once, and he won it.
He won it in 2000. He won it in 2008, and then converted to never play in that position again.
Sean Franklin
But
is a better center back than AJ De La Garza.
That's insane. You were so close.
You are fucking.
You were so close.
Can I just mute him? Like, I think I can mute you. Hold on.
Do you have AJ at one? You have AJ as one.
Me? No. Well, it's no. I got Sean Franklin at one.
But Sean Franklin is without question, the best right back we've ever had.
Yes.
Number one.
Without question. Like, come on.
Yeah, without question.
I love AJ. I didn't know this. I looked this up while I was researching for this episode. I didn't know AJ played about 30 more games at right back than he ever played at center back. He played roughly an entire MLS season at right back over his time at center back. Wow. Which is weird because back then we always advocated for him to play center back.
Well, that was the thing. Bruce, after the first year of the AJ and Omar at center back, he got replaced every single year. It was Leonardo. It was
somebody who was like 8 inches taller, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Pick somebody 8 inches taller, and Bruce will put him at center back next to Omar.
But they all weren't as good as AJ. For some reason, Bruce never wanted to play them because AJ is 5'7".
Yeah, AJ had he had that connection that, with all due respect, he had a connection with Omar that was always going to kind of shield him and was always going to protect him to a degree, because there's no two ways about it. You can look at the rest of Omar Gonzalez's career. When he played with AJ De La Garza, that's the best soccer at center back that he ever played. So
it's a guy he had 7 experience playing next to.
Well, yeah, all his years in the Galaxy and then 4 years at Maryland.
Yeah.
But having Omar, keeps AJ safe to a degree during transition, turnover, and negotiating budgets and all those things. Like you're inclined to figure out a way to keep AJ, because if you keep AJ, you're going to keep your designated player relatively happy. And it's important to keep him happy. And AJ made Omar a better player. I always wanted him to get more of a run out at center back. I know it's the position he preferred, but he was also one of those guys where you play wherever they'll put you. Like, if you can get on the field, you need to get on the field, and you need to play. You show what you can do.
What you mean? He was loyal to the Galaxy?
What? And of these 4 guys, AJ is the only one with 3 rings.
Yeah, because Sean got priced out. Sean went up to 3.
Right? Yeah.
Well, I mean,
when you're guaranteed bonuses, I mean, kind of.
When you're on 250,000 and you win MLS Cup, there's not a whole lot of places for your salary to go. Like, it's only going to go up. And so yeah, you got. I think for me it's AJ Sean to kind of round it out. And then honorary mentions, if we're ready to move on from right back.
Yep.
Mentions. Dan Gargan, who played over 2 years on the Galaxy and was a right back and was very good. I guess Rolf Felcher, who is fine and has played over 2 years. But I also went ahead and tossed in a young Giassi Zardes, Rafa Garcia.
I like Rafa. Yeah.
Played over 2 years and played right back.
Oh, man. All right. Moving on, we'll go to the other side. We'll go to left backs. And Michael has here Todd Donovan, Robbie Rogers, and Ashley Cole. Chris, we'll go with you first.
Can we do Chris? Just do all 3. I mean, this is kind of.
Well, sorry.
Or would you rather have Ed?
As my dude's taking a toke.
Yeah, I know. Ed, I'll go 3-2-1.
Okay, go ahead.
3-2-1. I got Robbie Rogers, Ashley Cole, and Todd Donovan.
Can I stop you for half a second? So there was someone on his list. And so it's the only reason I felt empowered to move him. It's someone who appears somewhere else on his list, but he's in the wrong position.
Okay.
He has Greg Vanny listed as a center back instead of listing him as a left back. So I went ahead and moved Greg over to left back. And so you might want to take, for me anyway, I have Greg Vanny on my list of left back. So if you want to take that into account and do a top 4 instead of a top 3, it might make a little more sense for you.
Oh man, that's a rough one then. Cause I mean, I love Ashley Cole. I really do. But I mean, I don't know. Todd Donovan is still number 1 for me. I think you could flip-flop Vanny and Cole and Vanny. And I think Robbie Rogers is a clear number 4.
Sure. I mean, Greg Vanny, if he's flip-flopping with Ashley Cole, that has to be, I mean, that's got to be based on time served.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
It's got to be time served.
Yes.
and and he won the CONCACAF Champions Cup. Pure ability, it's crazy because I don't like. I've never really gone through this and kind of thought about it, and it's opened up. Ed, I'm telling you, it's opened up a whole world of research and discovery. Like, who sent this email? Do you have the author?
Yeah,
Do you need a second?
No, it was Michael Dallum.
Michael, what's the last name? Sorry,
Dallum.
Michael Dallum. I want you to understand how many hours of my life you've just eaten up. So I've never thought about ranking like the midfielders, or even and less than ranking the midfielders, more like cataloging them by position to know, like, well, I've never even queried like who recorded the most assists from left wing.
Sorry, I got my internet like cut out for a second. Sorry.
Okay, it's cool. I mean, it's a podcast.
Yeah, he just go ahead and interrupt. He couldn't just like kind of go with the flow, like
just want to act like
try
that
and
didn't
catch
happen.
up. Yeah.
Yeah,
he didn't want to try and catch up by context or anything like that. He's like, hey guys, hold up, wait, guys,
hey,
my internet, guys,
stop everything you're doing. I'm back. It's okay. The world is right.
There's like 10 people streaming this right now, and Ed's like, I'm gonna stop so that those 10 people know, hey, the reason I wasn't talking is not because I didn't have anything to say, or because someone else was in the middle of a sentence. The reason I'm not talking, my chat froze.
No, you're not that important to not interrupt you. It's fine.
What was I talking? I don't even know what I was talking about now. Oh, Vanny.
You were on some rant probably that you've been on for like 10 minutes. It doesn't matter.
No. It was short. Pure ability.
Never is.
This time I feel like it was. I don't remember. But I Todd Donovan, number 1.
Yeah.
I give number 2 to Vanny. I really want to give it to Cole because on skill, on talent, it's Cole by far and away. By that stage in his career, though, you got to give athleticism to Vanny, which is probably the only time a white guy has gotten athleticism over a black dude. Congratulations. But on athleticism, based on their time on the Galaxy, you got to give it to Vanny. Championships, got to give it to Vanny. I mean, the O2 Cup, the CONCACAF Champions Cup, the Western Conference Final, like you got to give it to Greg. It's hard really to go in another direction. Todd number 1, and is that, I think, and Robbie Rogers dead last. Like, very good, very, very good left back. His time specific in that position at left back, he was very, very good. What are you talking about?
He couldn't cross worth a fucking damn for a guy who was a quote unquote attacker. My God, his crosses were terrible.
I mean, I feel like he just scored a few goals from left back. I could be wrong.
Scored a couple.
I could be wrong.
But his crosses were absolute dog shit. For a guy who was a converted midfielder, like it's crazy.
And Tuck Vanny doesn't have an MLS Cup.
Vanny never got one.
No, according to Wikipedia, he's got the '98 Supporters Shield.
Right. You're right.
He does have the Champions Cup.
He has a Champions Cup
and an Open Cup and 3 Western Conference championships.
You're right, because we lost the games he was on. We lost 96, we lost the 99, and we lost the 2001.
Yep, and he was a 2-time best 11 MLS.
And he missed out on. He left after 2008, so he would have missed out on the run to 2000. Yeah, he missed out by a couple years. But again, that Champions Cup. The Champions Cup is the great divider for me, especially against like a left back who did, all due respect, didn't win anything. Here, you go to England, he won a whole bunch of things. I'm not talking about what he won at Arsenal or Chelsea or, England didn't win anything. They never win anything. But I'm not talking about all the silverware he won over in the UK. We know they did very, very well. But on the Galaxy, where it counts, where it matters, maybe I give Cole the boost as a captain. No, I still go to Vanny. Still go to Vanny. I'm good. Go to Vanny.
My God.
Todd Donovan. Hold on. Todd Donovan.
Wait.
Vanny. Ashley Cole, Robbie Rogers. Done. Out.
That's fair enough. But Ashley Cole is 2-time LA Galaxy Defender of the Year.
Yeah, but like,
hey, Champions Cup,
during no, not even that. He was 2-time LA Galaxy Defender of the Year when who else was on the back line?
Hey man, Jorgen was there.
Well, I would have gone like year 1 Yellow was there.
Yeah.
Like to win Defender of the Year over year 1 Yellow Van Damme is impressive. to win Defender of the Year at like 36, 37 years old is pretty embarrassing for the follow-up year. But he's by far and away the best. Just he suffers from the same things Zlatan does.
Wasn't he a Lars Player of the Year as well?
He should have been, yeah.
I think he was.
But he suffers from the same things Zlatan does. Outstanding player, outstanding class, one of the few genuine world-class players we've had play on the Galaxy. It just happened at a rough time. It just happened at a really, really rough time. And it sucks, but that's the way it is sometimes.
Yeah, does anything top the 4 championships from Donovan? Even a Champions Cup? I mean, 4 MLS Cups.
No, because if we had 0, he would have tied me with DC United. And I hated looking up at DC United. I hated looking up at anybody, but I hated looking up at, of all people, I hated looking up at them. So Todd Donovan by himself equaling me with United, we're all good. That's the only. Why do you think I don't hate the San Francisco Deltas? Todd Donovan, a NorCal team I don't hate,
or the Sacramento Republic,
whatever he played.
No,
Deltas.
He's
but he's in charge of the Republic now. After the Deltas folded. After the Deltas folded, the Republic hired him.
Oh, that's for the move to MLS.
The Deltas were one and done.
Yeah. Well, they're all gone. Screw them.
Yeah. Ed, what's your list?
Real quick, Rogers at 4, Vanny at 3, Ashley at 2, and Todd at 1.
Yep.
All right, moving on to center backs. We have.
I had an honorable mention.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I did one for everybody. Honorable mention for left back, Eddie Lewis, who got converted to left back after the legs kind of went away.
I would put him over Vanny.
Cold-blooded. Vanny got that Champions Cup, baby.
Local boy, dude.
Word.
All right, center backs. We have Dan Kalishman, Robin Fraser, Danny Califf, Alexi Lawless, Tyrone Marshall, Omar Gonzalez, and Leonardo. Ben, we'll go with you. Go, just run down your list.
Your whole list.
You want all those, or just want my top 5? Because I only did top 5.
Then
so we definitely your top 5 because you didn't do any homework.
That's all you did.
What do you mean?
Oh my god.
Well, I felt like I was looking at this list, and
this
number 1,
pays rent. Like,
no.
Do you want the full rent, or do you want the $1.75 I have in my wallet right now?
I felt like Leonardo should not have been on this list. Period. He's not, especially over a guy like Ugo Hemelu, who was there.
But he's not on the list. That's not the list. He's not on the list, Ben.
Still.
That's where he goes in the honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Well, Leonardo should be in the honorable mention. Shouldn't be on the list.
That's not what the listener put. So too bad.
It's not our call to make.
Hey! You know what, Tucker? This is your show. You tell me what to do.
They did show the 2005 MLS Cup video and that save from Ugo. Whew.
Ed, I got it.
Finally.
I finally got it.
Okay,
Benjamin, do your top 5 apparently.
Starting, I got Kalishman at number 5. I got Alexi Lawless at 4, Tyrone Marshall at 3, Robin Fraser at 2, and Omar at number 1.
All right, Tucker, your list.
I have
7 or 5 or 3, whatever you want to do.
I have 7 because I did all my work.
There's 8. Okay, go. You moved one of them. Go ahead.
With all due respect, I have Leonardo at 7, Danny Califf at 6, Alexi Lawless at 5, Tyrone Marshall at 4, the first Galaxy captain, Dan Kalishman, at 3, the second Galaxy captain, Robin Fraser, at 2, again on account of that Champions Cup, and Omar Gonzalez. I mean, if we're being honest with ourselves, Omar is, it's rough to call him the best we've ever had, but he's the best we've ever had.
Yeah.
Certainly as far as collecting honors and being the most talented at the right time. Because I think if you remove Omar and put in Yella at the same time, like, we probably win the same amount of things, if not more. But for time served, championships won, like things added to the case. Congratulations, Omar Gonzalez.
Well, I mean, I'll go on with what you said there, Tucker. I mean, you remember was it 2012 that we started off with a bunch of draws, and it was when Omar was hurt, and then as soon as he came back from his knee injury, we kind of took off and
surged.
Yeah. Ed, what do you got?
I have Leonardo at 7, Lawless at 6, Califf at 5, Fraser at 4, Kalishman at 3, Marshall at 2, and Omar at 1.
Universal number 1.
Yeah,
Universal number 1 and Universal number 7.
Yeah, I mean, I was tossed between putting him and Alexia at 6 and 7.
You know, Frazier was good though, man. I think you guys forget how good Robin Frazier was when he played with the Galaxy.
He's my number 3.
I know, but where was he? He was what, number 5 with you, Ed, or number 4?
4.
Yeah.
He's my number 2. He's not even my number 3. He's my number 2. Like, Frazier is an MLS Cup. He is a CONCACAF Champions Cup. Like, he is another MLS Cup appearance. He captains the 96 final, and we win that game if Kalishman gets to play. Like, and we're not playing in a pool. Robin Frazier, another one. You know what?
That 96 team.
Get on a soapbox. Robin Frazier. Let me turn around here.
I'm gonna go on mute.
I'm enjoying this new. I don't know if you've seen. I'm enjoying this new, like, Instagram live thing the Galaxy's doing, where they're getting these older players back and they're kind of talking through these stories. And they're talking through, like, these old times and what what it was like, what they were going through. How we don't get someone like Robin Frazier more often. And again, I know why we don't. I understand why we don't. Like, we didn't even tweet out, have a happy Black History Month. Like, I get why Robin Frazier's not a big deal and Luis Hernandez and Hermosillo are big deals. Like, I understand that. But turn that off. As a captain, as the second captain of the Galaxy, as a guy who was instrumental during an important time in the history of the league and the history of the team, it's crazy to me. And look at any interview you can find of Robin Frazier, like, very articulate, well-spoken, gets his point across, is a good storyteller, way better than me, is a good storyteller. I can't understand why, that's not an avenue we've mined, or if it's something we've looked into and he's rejected it, then I retract everything I've said. Obviously I'm wrong, but man, it seems wild to me that there is this. He seems like someone who would be a bevy of knowledge of important moments in the game. Like, for all these animated videos we're posting, like, do one of the CONCACAF Champions Cup final and have some of these guys come talk about it. But, I digress. But Robin Frazier, for me, nothing but respect. Number 2 with a bullet. And in this house, we respect Robin Frazier.
100% agree with you, Tucker.
All right, moving on to the midfields. Michael puts down 5. I'm assuming these are either center midfielders, because he has wingers at one point. So, Cienfuegos, Martin Macon, Simon Elliott, David Beckham, and one Juninho. Tucker, we'll go with you first.
Thank you, sir. Oh, super fast. Honorary mentions for center back.
Oh, yeah, go.
Sean Franklin, AJ De La Garza, and MLS Cup winning and starting in an MLS Cup final, Tommy Meyer. Put some respect on my boy's name.
Yeah, he's definitely number 10.
Respect it. He's the last on that list.
He's on last on the list.
My order
Wait. So no honorable mention for Ugo Ehemlu. Shame on you, sir.
I've already given it.
Go ahead, midfielders.
Why don't you toss it on? Who's on the bottom of your honorary list? He ain't got one. Make your own.
You know what? Honorary mention starts and ends with Ugo Ehemlu. Period.
Wow. Yeah. Hey, I support it. I love the old guys bit. I support it.
There you go.
My midfielders, going from 5 to 1, I have Simon Elliott, Martin Macon. I feel like I just choked on a name. Juninho, David Beckham, and then of course, Mauricio Cienfuegos is number 1.
I have the same exact list. Because we boys. We them boys. All right, Benjamin, who's your top 5?
I have pretty much the same list. I had Simon Elliott up 1.
And Martin Macon down 1?
Yeah.
Okay. It's hard to... Simon Elliott, he's like our best Kiwi that we've ever had.
Dan Keat is so disappointed in you. How dare you? Dan Keat remembers.
I'm sure he doesn't. He's somewhere selling insurance or something.
I think he runs like a soccer team or something. Like some other soccer team.
Didn't we look him up? He was selling cars or something like that.
Is it really that sad?
It was sad like that, yeah.
He's like buying them, fixing them up a little bit, marking up the prices.
He's like flipping them.
Yeah. Flipping the cars.
He is Oh, is this him? I'm gonna look into this. You guys keep going.
All right,
Wingers.
so we'll move on to wingers. We have here Kobe Jones.
Wait,
Landon.
hold on. Wait, to talk.
Oh yeah, honorable mentions
Honorable
for
mentions for midfielders.
I appreciate you, Ben. Honorable mentions for midfielders. I have Paul Caligari, who sued Major League Soccer in 1997 until they put him on the Galaxy, which was a part of his contract when he initially signed with the league. I have Danny Bania because my boy is from Inglewood and was hard as nails. I added Marcelo Sar.
Still hard as nails, by the way.
Still hard as nails, always will be. Takes his blue chew. I have Marcelo Sarvas, who
not sponsored.
You like that? Who was Lars Player of the Year? Very, very important. And of course, I'm going to go ahead and say friend of the show, Dima Kovalenko, because he's my boy and I love him. And my favorite MLS memory of all time involves Dima drunkenly directing traffic at a party Major League Soccer threw after he retired. So
and if you didn't mention him, he was going to come at your house at night and murder you.
Yeah, that's kind of exactly why you have to put him on the list. Yeah,
it's the exact opposite. I have to look in the mirror and say Dima's name 3 times, or he's going to visit me in the middle of the night. I do it every day. I've done it every day for 10 years.
There's a reason why Dima's up here in the studio.
Yes, the Dima Kovalenko podcast studio.
All right, so we're moving on to wingers. We have Kobe, Landon, Chris Klein, Mike McGee, and Roman Alessandrini.
Who wants to start? You want me to start?
Ben will go to you. Yeah.
All right, I got from 4 to 1. I got Roman Alessandrini, Mike
so you're
McGee,
just skipping the
Kobe
5.
Jones, and Landon Donovan as number 1.
Wow, cut Klein clear out of the list, huh? Super League final gets no love.
I mean, you could.
It's true.
You
the bicycle in the Super League final, yes.
What about you, Eddie? Who you
got? Klein, Alessandrini, McGee, Kobe, and Landon.
Well done. Our 5 are the exact same.
Best friends forever.
Hey, best friends. Honorable mentions. We can just buzz through it. I mean,
obviously, let's talk about Kobe and Landon.
Yeah,
because obviously, you have Landon, who's the greatest American player who's ever played the game, and you have Kobe Jones, who will forever be like a legend and the most memorable player on this team.
He should be, yeah.
And I mean, he was what he gave up to come to the Galaxy.
Yeah.
You know, when the league was started, that's got to be taken into account, you know?
And, well, I mean, because you had guys who came back, you know, like, or let's point them out. You had Campos, you had guys coming over. You know, Campos is the first signing in the history of the Galaxy. It's air quotes. It's the reason that they're really, really big fans of him and they have to promote him. But you had guys who came over. You had guys who, you know, wanted to invest in the league and invest in the building of the league. But for what Kobe became as a guy who came back and became not just a member of the league, not just a member of the team, but like the guy. Like, as I can tell you, you know, 1996, 1997, back when I was a kid and still liked soccer when I'm 10, 11 years old, and I'm in, you know, AYSO and all that. Like, I loved Kobe Jones. Young black kid in Los Angeles in the LA Galaxy. Like, I loved Kobe Jones. Long braids. No, I loved him.
He was Valley kid, man.
He was a god. I mean, he was a god. And to have him not just come back, but come back and be like, I'm playing the rest of my time here. Like, from when you bring me back until I can no longer play the game, I'm here. I'm with you guys. You know, captaining the team to a cup, giving the armband up to the guy who clearly was going to be the next step in the legacy of the team, and doing, you know, what is basically the right thing, stepping aside for the next generation coming in, because it's for the betterment of the club. It's what the club needed. You know, you genuinely can't say enough about an icon of American soccer, and he's ours. You know, when you look back to old U.S. soccer games, Kobe Jones is one of the people that they love showing in all this footage, and it's like, oh yeah, that's Kobe. You know, it's Kobe from the Galaxy.
First goal in Galaxy history.
Kobe Jones, most important goal in Galaxy history. Kobe Jones via Zlatan Ibrahimovic. The spirit, you know, the spirit came through. He for a long time he was the Galaxy. You know what I mean? Like for a long time, he was the Galaxy. And for a new crop of people, there is, depending on when you came on, there's Donovan, there's Beckham, there's, I assume there's some Gerard people. I assume some Geo people hung out and stayed. I assume there's Keen people. But there was a serious, and then Eber people, and now, hopefully, Chicha, right? That's what I'm supposed to call him. I haven't said it in a while. I haven't gotten it out of my system. But Kobe is synonymous. He's one of those guys who are synonymous with the club in a way where in 40, 50, 60 years, his name should still be one of those names that is like, yeah, defending was terrible, but God, Kobe was the best.
Well, I still think even when you have like the newer fans that come in, that they still know what the respect of Kobe Jones's name should be.
Yeah.
Like you still respect that name.
Yeah, you gotta love
even if you've been a fan 2 years, you still know and respect the name Kobe Jones.
You gotta love that he's in the booth. Like he could hang out for 20 years if that's what he wants to do. Maybe that's not what he wants to do, but he could hang out for 10, 15, 20 years in the booth to where Damian grows up hearing his voice.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, you don't know who that is? That's Kobe Jones. Let me show you every goal he scored in 1999. Because, I got you like that. Yeah, it's he's just one of those dudes. And then Landon, everything Landon is, everything Landon came to be, everything Landon came to represent. The hope someone like Landon came to represent of like, oh, we can be really, really good at this. Like if we want to,
and then just going from absolutely hating that guy,
hating him,
just despising,
yeah,
and to just becoming a hero.
I remember when I went to a Galaxy game for the first time, when I got brought to a Galaxy game, and I remember hearing Lars and the Galaxians do the "Oh Landon Donovan," and I was like, "Who's that guy?" Like who's like, because I didn't know anything about him. I'm like, who's that guy? Who's Landon Donovan? And this guy I knew was like, oh, he's the best player we have. And I'm like, really? And he's like, he's the best player we have in the whole country. And I was like, and he plays for us? And he's like, yeah. I was like, oh, that's badass. And then I went home and I, learned everything you can learn about him.
Of course.
It's lucky. We're lucky to even have a list like that.
I mean, as Galaxy fans, we need to count our blessings of we're LA Galaxy and not the Columbus Crew or
Mike McGee for everything. We're
not the Columbians.
For everything Mike McGee has, for every goal he scored, for every fan interaction, for coming back, for orchestrating and manufacturing like us getting Robbie Rogers and then getting McGee again for free. And then, him coming, wanting to be back in that hole. For all that, Mike McGee is third. Like, that's what it means to be a Galaxy fan. For as great as Alessandrini was, beloved, designated player, earned his money, outside of the injuries. But, really, really dedicated. Very highly, highly, highly talented guy. He's fourth. Like, he can't do better than fourth. Because that's what it means to be a Galaxy fan. Like, that's what it means to support this particular club. Just in our opinion. I mean, for all I know, you got him higher or lower. That's your business. Maybe you're super into Ishizaki.
I know, it's all opinion, man. It's
Maybe you're a massive Mika Virtanen fan. I don't know. But for me, like
you and his wife, and that's it.
But for me, like Alessandrini, as great as he is still the fourth best winger we've ever had.
Yeah.
It's nuts. Honorable mentions, I got Colin Clark, who recently had a birthday, tragically passed away at 35 after he had a heart attack. Eddie Lewis, who we originally signed to play left wing, who should have been on this list because he was here for over 2 years. And then my weird left field pick, because I always like those strange names you barely remember or haven't heard in a long time, Kyle Nakazawa. You remember that dude from UCLA?
Yeah, he played like 3 games and got hurt.
Philadelphia Union, yeah. But I met him at a G2 game and he was really nice. Kyle Nakazawa, honorable mention.
Can you count a guy like I'm drawing a blank now. The Armenian guy from the original team.
Haruk Karapetian?
Yeah. Was he? Could you count him as a winger? Because we just kind of played a different formation back then.
He
But he
seems.
was on-
I mean,
he
from
was on
every
the way.
video I can find of that era, like it's a lot of wide play from that guy. So I mean, there's nothing wrong with tossing him in.
Yeah,
I'm not sure he has the accolades to really crack that list.
Well, as far as an honorable mention goes, I think you could throw him in there.
Oh yeah. I mean, still the fastest hat trick in MLS history. He had the 96, 97, 98 season. Yeah, I mean, noteworthy, but I think one of those guys is going to be hampered by bad defenses, at least on the time he was on the Galaxy. He had time at San Jose, so that becomes rough, but
yeah, well,
noteworthy at least for the hat trick.
All right, moving on. We have forwards here.
I feel in my zone today. I feel like I got my stats going.
There's 10 forwards. I think we should do the top 5.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to do the top 5.
All right. So Ben, how about you?
Yeah, we gotta save Tucker for last.
Not only am I not doing the top 5, I have individual stats for each player for you.
Okay.
You know hey, wait. So Ed, should we even bother? Should we just like turn this? Let's just turn this over to Tucker.
No, let's do our top 5 real quick.
Ed has to get his in there.
I need to talk for at least 10 minutes of this podcast. So
Ben didn't do his.
Top 5. I'll go.
Wait. What if I want to go?
No, I'm going. Number 5 is Hurtado. Number 4, Buttle. Number 3, Ruiz. Number 2, Zlatan. Number 1, Robbie Keane.
Kind of hard to argue that, honestly. I'll agree with you.
All right, go Ben.
No, I agree with you 100%.
Is this the same?
Yeah.
My turn.
I don't think Ben did his homework.
I don't think he did either. It's okay.
It's
I think he stopped at that top 5, and he was like really hoping we wouldn't bring it up, and we didn't until now. So it's cool.
I know.
So like it's passed, but I think that's definitely what happened. That's okay. So in I'm going to go ahead and call it last place. Giovanni Dos Santos, terrible, worst signing we've ever had, worst designated player in the history of the league, somehow worse than Julian de Guzman, who is the worst designated player that I remember. Awful. His stats don't matter. His stats are irrelevant. He's terrible. I wish it never happened. And you said there's 10? There's 10, right?
Yeah, I think there's 10.
So in 9th, I have the guy who's been popping up a lot more in my life, Luis Hernandez. I don't know why this is happening, but he's getting promoted like crazy again for some reason I can't figure out. He had 30 games across 2 seasons, 21 goal scoring contributions, not bad by any stretch. It seems strange for only 30 games for this guy to be so important. But speaking of which, Carlos Hermosillo at 8, who had 34 games, 29 goal scoring contributions. That's ridiculous. Like,
yeah, that's crazy.
That's insane. But in 8th, I have Hercules Gomez, 53 games, 21 goal scoring contributions. At 7th,
total dick now.
Bit of a D-bag, but every time I see the 05 game-winning goal and the way he grabs,
he kind of swings
Pondo. Every time he grabs Pondo, and it's like he just swings around.
Yeah,
it's so fluid. I love it. It's probably my favorite Galaxy goal scoring celebration.
I'm always weird when dudes celebrate like that though.
And he's got
like when they drag people to the ground. I'm like, dude, that's gonna be like a broken wrist or something.
And he's got the Hercules on his back too. Doesn't have the Gomez. He's got the Hercules then.
At number
no, and you got especially with Lars, you always got to love that dude for he had a real rapport with us in that corner, man.
Oh yeah, and it's weird. I feel, and this is if you're an old MLS fan like us, I feel like in my heart, Sporting Kansas City still has that dude's rights. I know they don't. Like I fully understand Sporting or Kansas City Wizards, whatever they were, they don't have Hercules Gomez's rights. But in my heart, Ed, when I put my head down and go to sleep, and I'm like, where's Hercules Gomez? My heart tells me he's in Kansas City. I don't know why. It's just the way it is. In 5th, I have Welton, 69 games over 4 seasons, 48 goal scoring contributions. I watch his highlights all the time. I just love watching him play. He's
part of
just
that great
so much
98
fun.
team. Yeah,
just so much fun. Technically an attacking midfielder, but we'll give it to you as forward. But yeah, big fan. Edson Buttle came in at 4th. I think that's fair. 110 games across 3 stints. I think he's certainly the only forward with 3 stints. I don't know if he's the only player with 3 stints. But yeah, Edson Buttle, 110 games, 3 stints, 51 goal scoring contributions for what you expected out of him. practically a goal or assist a game. Not bad.
I mean, and then that 1 year where literally every shot he took
Boom.
just scored goals.
My dudes blew up. At 3, this is where it gets a little tougher for me, but at 3, it's El Tanque, Eduardo Hurtado, 50 games, over 3 seasons, technically, because he played 2 games in 1998, but really he got, I mean, as soon as the season started, he got moved to New York. 41 goal scoring contributions over 50 games. Nonsensical. And that guy got no assists. So all of those are goals. Like the vast majority of those are goals.
He assisted on the very first goal to Kobe Jones.
Really? I didn't know that. That's a nice little nice little nugget I can toss in that old head. Do you know who scored the game winning goal in that match?
I just watched it the other day.
I will await your answer, sir.
Go ahead, continue with your list.
He's gonna Google search it.
That's okay.
I'll have my hands here the whole time.
I can tell. I'll tell Ed.
Oh, what's that stuff coming off the hands, dude?
Ben, don't go in the chat. I'm gonna Ed. I'm gonna send it to you on Discord, just to prove that I know it off the top of my head.
Okay. He won't check it anyways.
No, that's why I'm sending it to your personal one because I don't trust him.
Oh, he's not gonna get that.
No, he's not.
It was a defender. Oh no, it was a sub. He came on as a sub.
You're pathetic.
You're never gonna get it, dude. It's fine.
At number 2, I have Carlos Ruiz, 82 games, 4 seasons, 59 goal scoring contributions. I mean, obviously the most notable game-winning goal in the 2002 MLS Cup final. Every time I'm finding, it's very strange. I'm finding every time I click on highlights from the 2003 or 2004 season, almost every time Carlos Ruiz scores. Whether it's a penalty, usually a lot and more headers than you would imagine. But I just watch. I'll scroll through and select a random match. Carlos Ruiz scores almost every single time. And then obviously, the man who saw fit to take pity on our poor souls. Still waiting on Ben's answer. The man who saw fit to take pity on our souls and cross the Atlantic to save David Beckham, to save Landon Donovan, to save the world. For me, hands down, the greatest Galaxy player in history. Hands down. I mean, the only person that could possibly unseat a Kobe Jones or a Landon Donovan. The great one. The king. Robbie Keane.
Oh, yeah, Robbie Keane.
What did you say? Adam Crispin.
He said Jack McBean.
Wow. No.
Hey, was it Kalichman?
No.
It was a defender though, right?
I'm not giving you hints. If you're gonna cheat, just cheat. Like just be about it. Don't go to Titty Bar and get a hand job. Like you
I don't know how to pronounce his name.
That's okay. Hey, that could be a clue. 125 games over 6 seasons.
It was Arash Numaz.
Correct.
And that was just looking at the roster. That wasn't looking up who did it.
Sure.
Ed, he just said the name. He just said the name. Can you pronounce that name?
Araj.
And he was a defender. He was a defender.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was assisted by Simioli, I think.
Yeah, Simioli is the only person from that 96 team who's from New York.
Oh, really?
It's a weird strain. Yeah, he's from Brooklyn. Ed and Ben, really.
Wait, hey, Tuck. I didn't catch where you placed Zlatan on that list.
Yeah, me either.
He's not on this list. He didn't play 2 full seasons.
Okay.
I didn't make the rules. Don't get mad at me.
Hey man, he was listed.
Yeah, he was listed.
He was listed on the.
I took him off the list because he didn't play for 2 years.
Okay.
Like he's on my honorable mentions. He deserves to be honorably mentioned. All if right. The guy said played 1 season with one full season with the Galaxy.
Okay. So suppose as long as they score 50 or more goals.
I'm gonna be really 1 second. I'm gonna be really quick. Robbie Keane had 128 goal scoring contributions in 125 games. Just in case anybody wanted the end to that sentence. Go ahead, Benjamin.
All right. Where would you put Zlatan if you were going to put him on the list?
2. He's a fair number 2.
Okay.
He's fair 2.
Over Ruiz. Ruiz won a cup, man. Ruiz won.
No. Ruiz won the cup.
Yes.
Ruiz won the most cup
exactly.
that has ever cupped of all cups in the world.
That's why I think Zlatan goes number 3. Like you could make an argument. Zlatan.
I mean,
goes
you definitely can make that argument.
It's hard. Look, this is the thing.
I mean, pure
But then it's also hard to argue a guy who scored over 30 goals.
And we haven't done pure talent on any of it. Like none of them have been pure talent based. None of the.
Well, it's whatever your metric is.
Yeah.
For grading them.
And what's your metric, Tuck?
Rings are very, very important.
Well, you definitely put talent when you had Landon over Kobe.
Oh, on the wing, Landon was a better winger than Kobe was.
But that's what I'm saying. Like if you're talking about talent wise, Landon is more talented than Kobe.
But Landon also won more rings than Kobe.
Well, for me, it's not even that. It's Kobe. Kobe as an institution in the galaxy is worth something. So whatever think about it like a graph, bar graph. Landon as an institution is worth something. Kobe as an institution is worth something, and so place that wherever you will. Then on top of that, you have actual action and in-game performance. Then on top of that, you have fan interaction and connectivity with people feeling like they connect with you. There's different things to kind of factor in. So sometimes what a player standing in the club is can go above how they're playing or what their ability is. It's not always the case. In the case of Landon, like he is an institution and he excelled at that position, and those two things combined are larger than Kobe as an institution and his ability to play that position compared to Landon. That's the way I look at it.
Okay.
So with Zlatan, it's like I don't know how else to phrase it. Like I watched a magic trick happen like every 14 days. You know what I mean? Like not even every 14 days. Like looking at his stats, I watched a magic trick every single week, save for the games he didn't play in, or save for completely getting shut down offensively, because if he didn't score, nobody scored. So when most of the time he was on the field, like I watched something that I likely will never see again. Ruiz is really, really important. He's really, really, really important. The ring helps a lot. The ring makes it hard. I think, Ben, you're probably right. You're probably right.
Hold on, what time is it?
Mark that. Mark that.
The one audio drop we actually get. But no, your Ruiz is probably number 2 because of the rings.
Because well, not just the ring, but the golden goal. He scored the winner.
That passion, the passion for scoring that goal. Like I don't think you get that from Zlatan. You get Zlatan celebrating a goal, but you're not going to get like the breaking down on his knees, hands in the air. Like you're not going to get that.
Well, that's what's hard though, because Ruiz had that grind and grinding to finally getting over the hill, and Zlatan didn't really get that, and again through no fault of his own. I mean, he did everything he could in his ability to bring a championship here. You just like Cole, you end up on the wrong team. Like Yella, you end up on the wrong team. Like Nigel, like Alessandrini, end up on the wrong team. What do you do?
So let me throw it right back at the question you asked me, Tuck. So if you were going to choose between the two of them to put a statue in front of the stadium, who do you choose?
Carlos Ruiz, without question.
Okay.
There you go. Robbie Keane, Carlos Ruiz, Zlatan. He's right.
Who's the statue they put up before?
Zlatan. Oh my God, they might actually kill Carlos Ruiz before they build a statue to him.
You don't have to worry about it getting vandalized and the nose getting taken off. And
nah, we're real friendly here.
Yeah.
They would melt down Carlos Ruiz to build Zlatan's statue.
But and it's another thing I want to talk about. Maybe we can do it next week if nothing really changes in the coronavirus and we don't get or the global situation and we don't have a whole lot of new topics. Going through the tiers, I've been thinking about this. Going through the tiers, so there's three chief ways of commemorating a legendary Galaxy player, a notable Galaxy player. It's what's now Legacy Plaza, which is where what they call where Beckham is, the Beckham statue. Legacy Plaza, the Ring of Honor, which is has been going. They're getting started with it, and the Wall of Legends, which for the most part appears to be kind of dead. So I've been thinking about what notable players of the last few eras belong on what level. As far as I can guess, looking at it,
that sounds like a good idea for a show talk.
That's what I'm saying. I want to do it there.
Yeah, that's
I want to explain it. I want to
I
explain.
do just like one player.
Well, no, I want to
Or
explain
one of each
like
tier.
yes. I assume Legacy Plaza is the top of the list. It has the least amount of people on it. It's the newest iteration. Clearly, they still care about it. I think Legacy Plaza is what you're supposed to aspire to as a player. That's where you would want to end up. I think the Ring of Legends is next, and it's very good, and obviously
The Ring of Honor, you mean?
Ring of Honor. What did I say? Ring of Legends. The Ring of Honor is next, and that it's very noteworthy. It's another place you would really, really want to be. It's not statue level necessarily, but it's noteworthy. It's important, and I think Wall of Legends is last. I would like them to keep that going. Maybe lower the tier of expectation on it, but keep it going. And then go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, what if like the Wall of Legends like became more of like a wall of like legendary moments type of thing? They put up,
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah,
but I like the idea of keeping all three for players and making it a tiered system. So it's like, hey, it's just me. I think a Sean Franklin should be remembered for a long, long time.
100% agree.
backline.
Yeah.
I can understand not putting him that whole backline, but I can understand not putting him on a Ring of Honor. I get that. I definitely understand not putting him on a Legends Plaza. I don't think anyone, really thinks Sean Franklin's going to get a statue here. But I would like to see him on the Wall of Legends. I'd like to see that again. I'd like to see that whole backline on the Wall of Legends. Omar Gonzalez will probably at the end deserve to be on some level of memory, just not a statue. To answer your question or how you were going to pose it, I'd like to see let's say Sean Franklin. I'd like to see Sean Franklin. I'd like to see AJ on the Wall of Legends. I think for the time served, the championships won, and what he meant to the Galaxy community, I'd like to see AJ remembered long term. So I could see AJ as a Wall of Legends guy. Won a bunch of rings, very noteworthy. I'd like to see Hurtado on the wall on the Ring of Honor. I'd even like to see Carlos Ruiz on the Ring of Honor. I think I'll go with Carlos Ruiz. Carlos Ruiz on the Ring. No, because I could put him on that plaza.
Well, technically, don't they have the 2002 team on there or something like that?
They have the 2000. That's what I mean. Like, why isn't Kevin Hartman on the Wall of Legends?
Like, I mean, honestly, Kevin Hartman should be in the Ring of Honor.
He should be at Legends Plaza. I mean, realistically, he could be at Legends Plaza. I don't think anybody's going to argue it. Apparently, I'm getting laughed at for it. So
no, Ben, it's a reaction to it.
Oh, well, he's crazy. But like, if they announced tomorrow they were putting,
I feel like did Hartman like steal a girlfriend from me or something, dude? Like what?
You know what? I mean, one of the towards the end is when I really became a Galaxy fan. Like I saw the highlights of him when he was great and when he was El Gato, but towards the end when I was when I first got my season tickets and when I really became a hardcore fan of this team, he was bad. Like I said, I have in the studio there is a ball signed by every single member of the 05 championship team except Kevin Hartman.
So it's worthless.
Yeah, it sounds meaningless.
Yeah, it sounds like it's not worth anything.
But I agree with you, Tucker. That I honestly think that Kevin Hartman belongs in a Ring of Honor for the Galaxy.
At least.
At
least. You know what? I'll put Kevin Hartman at a Ring of Honor. I'll say I want Sean Franklin on a Wall of Legends, Kevin Hartman on a Ring of Honor, and Robbie Keane at a Legends Plaza.
I think those Ring of Honor and that's all never going to be.
Ed, if you had to go all three levels, what would you do?
Hold on. Sorry, say that one more time.
I feel like that Wall of Legends and the Ring of Honor thing is never going to get touched again.
The Ring of Honor is an active thing. They just added Beckham got added to it when he got a statue.
Oh, did
the Wall of Legends appears to be defunct. And so for me, it just looks stupid because there's 4 things on there. Like it's uneven. It doesn't make any sense. It hasn't been. But there's something you can do with it. It can be noteworthy. You can make it a destination spot.
Yeah.
And I don't understand creating something like having a concept and then just completely abandoning it. It's almost as if there's a committee. Think of it like a committee to try to figure out how to honor past players. And everyone's opinion is important. And then as those people keep getting fired or quitting or retiring, new people get added. And their opinions are just as important. it doesn't necessarily mean we need to continue the important work we were doing before. We'll just start new important work. So it's like there's a bunch of ideas and they're all good, but there's just no one really dedicated to continuing it or fit. Like, I wonder what's coming after Legends Plaza. You know what I mean? That's when they're going to start naming stands at the stadium, I assume.
Parking lots.
Or do they actually do what you see over in Europe and build an individual's Hall of Fame for the team?
I'd love to see that.
I'd love to see that too. That would be.
I'd love to see that.
I mean, I don't think I'll live to see it, but I mean, I would love to see it.
I mean,
one day they have to. If the league keeps growing.
Well, look, how many?
You ain't gonna live to see it either, fucker.
I'm like, how many of those are 70 years old? You're gonna get that cocoa.
How many of those practice? They could take one of those practice fields out and then just build like a building.
Dude, they could take the tennis court out.
No, they have a lot of shit that goes down there.
How many of those office buildings up top can you get rid of? I mean, there's space. There's definitely space. So I don't know what they want to do, but I would like to see the Wall of Legends and the Ring of Honor and Legends Plaza used more frequently.
They have that cycling dome place in the back.
The Velodrome? They're never going to get rid of that.
Get rid of that.
It makes them a lot of money.
Yeah.
I know.
Honorary mentions, just to wrap us up. I had because Gordon. he wasn't on his list, so not my problem. I had Zlatan, Alan Gordon, and Chad Barrett. I was a big fan of Chad Barrett back in the day.
Barrett.
No Adam Chrisman? No Adam Chrisman?
Adam Chrisman is on my S list for the rest of his life. Dr. Chrisman.
Oh boy. No way.
Any honorable mentions from you, Ed?
Forwards. No, not really. Gordon would have been the one. Like he definitely would have cracked the top 5 for me.
I'll go Gordon, and I'll go. Come on! I feel like I can call one out. I'll go Gordon and Aleko Eskandarian.
Oh man, he would have been absolutely amazing for us.
I had the highest hopes. I genuinely had the highest.
Was it Nesta that wrecked his career?
It was Beckham. Beckham wrecked his career.
No, it was Nesta. Nesta elbowed him or something.
Having us play that stupid ass friendly against AC Milan. I
think, but it was a deliberate elbow. I remember that.
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure it was Nesta elbowed him, and that was it.
I just remember my season going in the tank after that.
That's about right.
There's some dirty Italians.
Oh, that's where you want to stop. You want to stop? Yeah, you want to stop right there.
That's at DT Radio Band.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen.
Actually, at Zero Cool 138, right there. We'll say goodbye from Tucker and Friends Radio.
Yeah. Anything else before we head out of here? Let's you guys want to do let's hit lightning round real quick. Sorry.
Yeah.
We had a lot of questions.
We're gonna do it quick.
You're gonna give me a second to pull it up.
It's gonna be a buzzsaw action. Do you have one pulled up
already, Ed?
I can get it real quick. Yeah. Sorry, we're
Tucker talk.
We're so.
Well, I'll just ask you a question because I have it pulled up.
There you go.
You guys are terrible at this.
If only we had a producer.
So the Galaxy Mount Rushmore.
Fuck Tucker's friend.
You got to do 4, Ed. Galaxy Mount Rushmore.
Wasn't that on it? Wasn't that?
It's everywhere.
Was in the email too, right?
It's over and over again, that question.
Kobe, Landon, Robbie. You gotta have Beckham.
Yeah, that list is correct. It's hurts.
Go again.
Kobe, Landon,
Robbie and David.
Do you care about the order at all?
So do you not put Bruce in there?
Because
I really think that
his handshake is too limp.
I don't know, man. I can't see you having an LA Galaxy Mount Rushmore without Bruce Arena.
So if you're putting Bruce, it doesn't have to be. If you're putting Bruce, who are you booting for? Because that becomes the question.
Man, honestly, I think I boot David. I think you got to boot back.
Well, that's insane.
Well, I mean, yeah, it is insane. But look at the other players. I mean, you got to boot Landon, Kobe, or Robbie Keane.
This is what you do because you're a Galaxy fan. You say, I don't care what you say. I'm putting 5 faces up there. Pipe down.
Exactly.
And we're going to put a star at the bottom of each one. And you know what? When I win my next championship, I'm going to toss another name on there. You give me enough time. And I'll have Stefani Migloranzi's face on the 7. So I'm going to win all them rings.
We are changing the Mount Rushmore rules because that's what we do.
Bang.
Exactly.
Do you have it pulled up yet, Ben?
Fair enough. No, yeah, go ahead.
Jesus Christ.
No, I was busy arguing with you. I'm actually in here. Give me a
So Ed, what's your
Yeah.
what's your favorite Galaxy goal
All right, here
of
we go.
all time?
Ooh, it's hard to argue any goal that isn't an MLS Cup goal.
That's usually the
I think
idea.
I think that one is the Juninho to Omar goal,
The pose.
and I mean it's beautiful, just beautiful. But just hard to argue against the Ruiz goal. It's hard to argue against that Pondo goal. I mean, it's difficult. I
What about
think
you?
you know what? I'll break it down. I'll say the Pondo goal because that's when I
Break it
like.
down.
Yeah.
That's when I really was into the Galaxy. Like I got into the Galaxy like in early 2000s. Like 2003 is when I started really paying attention. So like the first goal that I saw in MLS Cup live on TV was that Pondo goal. So I'll go with that one.
Sure. You agree, Ben?
Yeah, actually, yeah, because that was the first year I had season tickets, and yeah, that was we have the replica MLS Cup from that year because that's for all to all the season ticket holders. That's what they sent out
I have one of
as
those.
a gift.
Let me understand something. I'm just trying to clear something up really quick. You became a season ticket holder in 2005,
Yes.
and you don't like Kevin Hartman because he was bad.
Yes.
Okay. I don't understand what you're expecting from this man. He delivered an MLS Cup. But I'll go ahead and leave that alone. He delivered an MLS Cup against like Clint Dempsey and Taylor Twellman. We'll talk about that later. We'll off air that bad boy.
Prime Twellman and Prime Dempsey. But
I'm just saying, like Clint Dempsey loses that game and goes to Europe. Like, I'm just tossing it out there. Shalry Joseph was on that team, if I recall.
Yes, he was.
I like that guy.
We'll put it to the side.
I got it up now too, Tuck. So
My favorite goal, I discovered that Danny Pena goal from '97. It's just screamer from outside. But to your point about cups, I think there's more of when there's some sentiment to it, some sentimentality to it. So I got to choose Kobe Jones's first goal against Chivas USA as it bounces around in the box and then lands just beautifully. And he's got the long dreads going, and it's the 05, or the 06 jersey rather. It's beautiful. And then he's got the Kofi Kingston celebration going and the braids flying everywhere. It's all beautiful.
That would be 05, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta look
The hell was that?
I slid my phone off my tablet.
Oh, okay.
The microphone got it. Sorry. Apparently you're prepared now, Ben.
yes, this is probably my favorite question. Top 5 song in Rolf's cover album.
The top 5 songs.
Yeah, that Rolf is going to cover for his album.
Does he do a lot of singing?
I have no idea,
yeah.
but just the thought of that, just Rolf doing that. I mean, that's brilliant.
It's Isn't She Lovely, and it's to his sister.
That's weird. He doesn't do that, right? Does he do that?
Dude, I have no idea,
sings.
but dude, he definitely. Oh, did you see Rolf? He karaoke's like a motherfucker. You know he does.
He's actually it's not that bad.
Boom. I'm ready. Dancing Queen. That one's number 1 right off the top.
Mm-hmm.
Solo. He does all the parts himself.
He's all of ABBA.
Yes. Islands in the Stream. He does both parts. He doesn't need you. He's got it.
Ebony and Ivory.
I'll give you that one too. I'll Make Love to You. Boys to Men.
And Metallica.
I was going to do Killing in the Name.
Ride the Lightning.
Ride the Lightning. Love it. There you go. Quite the album.
See, I feel like he's just DJing, man. I feel like he's got like just doing all the mixing.
I feel like he's like really into the song Barbie Girl.
See, I assume he knows multiple Craig David songs by heart, and so we would get at least like Walking Away or 7 Days.
And he's definitely
Can
singing.
You Fill Me In?
He's definitely singing with no shirt on.
Just the top button. Everything else is silk. It's a white silk shirt and it's flowing.
Mm-hmm.
It's flowing.
He's got to show the abs in.
Why else would you have them?
Why would you work out that hard?
Yeah, it's not like you play soccer.
Yeah.
The world is over. Sit home, eat, and watch Netflix like everybody else. Weird.
All right, Ben.
You still into Popeye sandwiches, or is the hype over?
Me?
Whichever one of you was into Popeye sandwiches.
I had it once, and that was like a week ago.
I've been a vegetarian for 11 years. I can't help you. I don't know.
I'm not a big Popeye.
What about you? Because you know damn well you've eaten those.
You know what?
You're the fattest person on the show. You're gonna sit here and ask us this question and just act like he's not really asking you.
Thank you.
sticking up for your boo like that. Yeah. Give him some knucks back, Tuckle.
Tuckle.
Tuckle. That's the episode. That's the title of the episode.
Tuckle.
I'm writing it down already.
Oh, Ben's dead.
See what happens when you're 70 years old and the coronavirus that just fucks with your mind.
Production work for the show is going to be the exact same.
Yeah, he's dying.
You gotta go.
God, I wish I could have video on this right now.
Yeah, he's really red. I think he might be dying.
Yeah.
So Ed, what are the top 2 social galaxy moments of the last season for me and you? I think like being social with our peoples.
I mean,
from the last 2 seasons.
obviously that home opener, being back together, that's always fun. But it's just the amazing turnout. I mean, it was people woodwork for that game.
What it could have been. I'm going to pick the she said the last 2 years, so I'm going to pick the Zlatan goal from his debut because that was family and community like you never have.
Did you say the first Zlatan goal, Tuck, or the second?
The first.
I say because I mean you could lump the second one in there too because when the winner went in, that was just. God. I mean, I didn't know the people next to me, but I was hugging everybody in the Riot squad.
I forgot where I was. I had an out-of-body experience for like 3 minutes. I'm not gonna lie. I have no memory of it. Like I remember going in and then grabbing Jaime and celebrating, or not grabbing. Jaime was like 6 feet from me, so I just remember turning and seeing his face. Rather, I don't even remember who I grabbed. Oh, it would have been Pablo because I was on top of 137 and grabbing Pablo and just like, and then I black out and then I come back and we're getting ready to score the winner. But I have no now that I think about it, I don't really have a recollection of celebrating that goal. It just goes away, and I remember it being fun.
Yeah, that was an unbelievable experience.
So, what would be the best thing the Galaxy could do upon returning that would never happen? Like, what could they do that would be amazing, but they're absolutely not going to do it?
Somehow honoring the 96 team. I think that would probably go a long way, but they'll never do that.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if that was supposed to happen this year.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Which is a shame.
What are they going to do? What could they do when everyone came back? Shit, I don't know, man. More giveaways, dude. Remember back in the early Beckham days?
Mm-hmm.
There was like 4 or 5 shirts throughout the year.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty amazing, like the giveaways they were given.
Dude, back when they used to have the supporters barbecue, they used to have like a barbecue for the season ticket holders, and the players would be there and like sit at a table with you and shit.
That'd be nice. I would like to see them honor Dan Kalishman, the first captain from '96. Like I would love to see them bring them all back. I'd love to see them get Kalishman and Frazier and
I feel like that would have been a thing,
like a parade of captains or something like that.
I tell you, I tried to get them to do this for every time that they were going to name a new captain. Like bring all the old captains back. That you can't,
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I'm not expecting Robbie Keane to fly over.
I mean, even something.
But
cool.
I think he would.
Yeah, well, he said he's coming back, right?
Even something that's sorry, Ed, but like even something that's cheesy, like each one like passing the armband down to the new guy. You know what I mean?
It's what the Ottawa Senators do. Like there is a legacy to their captaincy, and it makes their captaincy for them mean something. It makes the new captain that comes in has an understanding of the weight of that honor and that respect. And so I would love to see them do something like that. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but it would be great to see them, officially named Jonathan, because they still haven't officially named Jonathan as captain, but officially named Jonathan as club captain by having, Landon and Robbie and Zlatan's not going to happen, but Landon and Robbie and Kalishman and Frazier and Vahinas and Jones and everyone you can getting them all back.
No,
that's what I would love to see.
The Galaxy do it by having, Adam Serrano name the captain.
Kind of, not really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So next question is, let's see. Tuck, you covered a few of them. The 5 aside. If you had to pick all-time Galaxy, you could pick all-time Galaxy players like in their prime, any era. Who's your 5 aside team?
I put Pinedo in goal because I think his fast reflexes are gonna. I mean, all time, probably still Pinedo. I put Pinedo in goal. I need a big.
In their prime, though. You could pick Ricketts in his prime, man.
Yeah, I mean, but
Tough.
it's tough because even Ricketts in his prime is still injury prone. Like on his best day, he was injury prone. Pinedo on his best day, like you trusted him to stay healthy and get you the win. But I probably pick Pinedo in goal. I like a big small, so I would take Yella just to see him in a Galaxy jersey again. I take Yella and AJ.
On a small-sided field too, man.
Small, yeah. And then in midfield, I'm going to take, because I'm going to have one midfielder. I'll take Nigel. Take Nigel Young, because I don't need Beckham, 45-yard passes on a five-a-side. So I'll take someone who's going to be able to shuttle the ball from defense to the forwards, smart, take care of it, and can also win me the ball back if needed. So I'll take Nigel in the middle, and then I'll take. Oh, you know what? I'm going to take Nigel and Cienfuegos in the middle. Give me a little creativity, and then I'll take like a 2006 Landon Donovan at forward. Just give me that speed. That's bang, 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 bang. That 80 energy.
Man.
So no Robbie,
how do you not have Robbie or Zlatan in your five-a-side?
It's hard. It's hard. But
those dudes are just gonna be mad balling on a five-a-side team.
I think so, but I wonder about the amount of space Zlatan's going to get on five-a-side. It's going to be tough.
Doesn't need it, man.
He doesn't need space. Yeah. Ed, what do you got then?
Like I agree with that, Chris. You'd have Pinedo in goal. I love to hear like the visualizing Yella on a five-a-side field, just basically just tearing people up. I like the Cienfuegos Nigel pair up. Like that's tasty, dude. That's tasty.
But you could say you only go one forward then instead of like having.
These are the things I think about before I go to bed at night.
Yeah, and
like
then
what would Cienfuegos and Nigel de Jong be like?
And then having Zlatan up top, just bullying people, man. Like that dude get like 10 goals in a five-a-side game a night.
It's not crazy.
I think I go Omar and AJ just to see them together again, one more time.
I can respect that.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think you got to go Pinedo in goal. Just he's awesome. But I would only put one in the middle. And for me, and maybe it's just a sentimental pick, but for me, it's Junie from 2012, we'll say. And then
in the middle?
Yeah, in the middle. And then I got to go Robbie and Landon up top just again.
It's a dream pairing.
Yeah.
I want to change my center backs to Jelle Van Dam and Dan Kalishman. I just want to see it. I just want to see it. I just want to see it once.
You just want to see them eat people?
I want to see them run on the field one time.
And then Danny Pena in midfield.
Yeah.
Yep.
Danny Pena and Nigel in the midfield.
Yeah. And Rob Friend up top.
So
you got
basically it's no one wants no one shows up to play those guys. They just stand there.
We're not trying to win the game.
You have Yella, Kalishman, Nigel, who else we said? Pena, and then Zlatan up top.
Good. Sold.
Yeah.
You guys just kick the ball that way. He's got it.
Well, like I said, no one shows up to play that game. No one shows up to play that team.
Because after the first game where the other team gets like all their players get injured.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah. All right. Next question.
Yep. Let me unlock my phone. We stayed on that one too long. Let's see. We got like Tucker said, we had a ton of questions on the
Instagrams.
Well, no, on the Mount Rushmore thing. I guess extra time. Did either one of you hear what the extra time Mount Rushmore was? Someone asked if we agreed with it.
I don't listen to them anymore.
I don't listen to them either.
I don't know it. I assume it's Landon and Kobe and Keane. And
that's one thing I haven't done in this quarantine is actually listen to podcasts.
Oh, I don't have any time. And no time.
Yep. All right, so what is Tiger King's impact on the MLS season, Ed?
Wait, say that again?
Daniel wants to know what Tiger King's impact on the MLS season is.
Did I hear that question right?
I don't.
Yep. That's what I think. It's right there.
I don't understand the question.
Ed, Tiger King.
What about it?
That's your boy. What's his impact on the MLS season?
I said, what?
No, man, it's a question.
Just move on. Just move on from the question. Just stop reading the question.
Ed, I was hoping you can come up with something. Come on, man.
It's Carol Baskin's fault.
Carol Baskin. That's all I know.
That bitch Carol Baskins.
We would have a season if it wasn't for Carol Baskins. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, she fed the season to their Tigers.
Terrible. All right, you gotta end on a better question than that, Ben. That was terrible.
Yeah,
that was the Carol Baskin of lightning round questions.
Let's see.
Did I get that right?
All right, how much steam does MLS lose from this break, or from the entire sports break? Like, you think when they come back, it's just like business as usual again, or like?
No, I feel like it would be more excited. Like people are like, oh shit, it's back. Like we're gonna go out and celebrate.
Or what could they do to, like, I guess, kind of gain that momentum like rather quickly, because they're going to need it quickly if you're going to try and save some sort of a regular season.
Well, I wanted to say this for another show, like talk about what we think the options are going to be, because if you've listened to Don Garber, at least recently, it's looking more and more likely that either the season doesn't happen, or if it does, it'll be
Would you rather
empty stadiums or tournaments.
Would you rather see empty stadiums and games, or would you rather just can the season start next year?
I mean, I want those people to be safe and not spread a disease, around that is still very active. But if it was the green light and they had, no chance of spreading the coronavirus.
Yeah, like all the players tested, all that, I mean, like you could, like, if they could safely play with just players and staff on the field, would you rather see that, or would you rather just like no season? I mean, because I don't know Tuck, have you? If any of us here have watched a game with empty stands, it's you.
It's hard. It's hard to watch, man.
It's pretty rough. I'm not gonna lie. But also you got to factor in. We all love Major League Soccer, but we're also all very, very aware of its failings and its drawbacks. So, understanding that you're now asking people to watch Colorado versus Chicago with no one in the stands, like it's rough as it is.
Isn't that a regular Colorado Chicago game though?
Yeah. And who watches those? I mean, this is for me really what it comes down to is, like, would you take your mom if they opened up, if they were like, everything's cool, you guys, it's good enough where you can go back? Would you take your mom to a game?
No, I mean, I think someone posted a question on Instagram or something saying, if the coronavirus quarantine ended today, how long would it take for you to like go back and do public event stuff? And I don't even know if this year will. I don't even think I'd go back. Maybe this year. Maybe not until 2021 as I'd feel comfortable.
Well, this is why I think this is why I hope really they don't end up opening stadiums. If they're going to do any play, hopefully it's closed door. I genuinely think we should just can it all and start at the 2021 season. That's what I would prefer personally. I understand their eagerness to get it going, and I understand their eagerness to try to play a season if it's possible. But like, I would go if they open the stadium. I would go, but I'm stupid. I wouldn't let my wife go. I wouldn't let any of my kids go. I wouldn't take my grandfather. I wouldn't take my mother. I would go, but I'm dumb. Like, I'm addicted. I have a problem. Like, you people should be getting me help instead of downloading this and listening to me.
I should have a Galaxy intervention.
Definitely. And I would be like, who had the top 5 Galaxy interventions of all time in like 1999? But like, I would go.
It was Linda Pickle.
I wouldn't let any of my people go to a game this year. Like, it's not going to happen, and they know it's not going to happen. And me and my idiocy still going to games, like, I would be hesitant walking in. I don't know how they open it back up and pay like security and pay concessions and pay all these other staffing, and then you have all these people who are like, "There's no way I'm going back this year."
So
I don't know.
You wouldn't feel guilty, or you wouldn't feel comfortable in August, like August, September.
That's the thing. If they opened it tomorrow, I would be there.
But you wouldn't.
But I'm an idiot.
So I guess at what point would you feel comfortable taking the family?
Probably next year. The soonest, regardless of when they open this year, the soonest they would go back is sometime next year. And hopefully when there's there's some medication or something that people can take. I don't understand it.
Yeah, some sort of vaccine.
But I hope there's something by then.
Canadians are working on it, man. We'll be all right.
Oh, lazy Canadian doctors. I don't know if you heard about this. We'll talk about off air.
Yeah, no, I probably wouldn't. I probably wouldn't go back this season, to be honest. Even in August and all that stuff. No, probably not.
All right,
it's tough, man. It's a tough ask.
Yeah. So well, that's it for the lightning round
depressing.
questions. But I did have.
Well done.
Yeah, I know. I did have So what about playing in? They were talking about the Open Cup. The Open Cup has been played consecutively for like 100-something years, right? What if there's no MLS season? They just do like an Open Cup thing, no fans.
I don't know. Open Cup has to get their mind around the fact that there are extreme circumstances, and we may not get a chance to play this tournament. That's just the way it is.
Ed, would you want to see an Open Cup with no fans? Just like the Open Cup, just so that we have some sort of games this year. Like cancel MLS season. Just
look, I love the sport, right? Like I've lived the sport for the last 15 years. It's okay. We can go 6 months without it happening. Like it's
going to be fine. It'll be here when we get back.
The same thing we want with everybody in this time is just have everyone safe, man. It's not that important.
Absolutely. That was a terribly depressing question to go out on. So instead, let's go ahead because we are going to round out of here. I'm thinking, right?
Yeah,
we're getting there. I want to thank what's his name, Art, our new Patreon subscriber.
Yes.
A new top tier Patreon subscriber. Thank you, Art. It's fantastic, and to all the people who've contributed to Patreon, you're helping us out, especially during difficult financial times. As Ben is the only one with a job at the moment, so we super appreciate you guys. If it's something you want to dip into or help out with, patreon.com/Riot Squadcast. We have extra bonus pods. There won't be one this week because I need to go to bed and my kid needs her room.
Yeah. Maybe we'll try to get together maybe during the day.
We could do one during the week. Like we'll figure it out. But yeah, that's something you guys can kick into if it's something you're interested in. Hopefully at some point Ben hits our closing theme song so I can stop talking and we can wrap this up and go home. Hey, there it is. Thank you for downloading the Riot Squadcast and hanging out with us this week. It was super appreciated. It's nice. Relaxing thing for us, and it's cathartic on our end. I feel better. It's nice to talk to my very good friend. So thank you for hanging out this week.
Thank you guys. And always, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Riot Squadcast. Just search it, follow us. ZeroCool138 on the Instagrams and Twitters. You can follow me at TheZombie13 on Instagram and Twitters. You can follow Ben at DTRadioBen on Twitter. Email the show, riotsquadcast@gmail.com. Thank you again for Michael for his email.
Show at Riot Squadcast, man.
Or show at riotsquadcast.com. Thank you again, Michael, for your email. There are a couple other parts that we didn't get to on his email, but we will get to them on future shows because the other questions are 2 hours long that Chris will go into on these questions. So on that note, we'll talk to you guys next week. I love you. Safe. Bye.
Like 45 minutes left. The song's gonna go on for like an hour and a half. What are you doing? I want to thank St. Michael. I finally got a copy. I got you, Ben. I want to thank St. Michael. I finally received
because
a copy.
He can't edit it to okay.
I finally received a copy of the 2005 MLS Cup final. So my collection is complete. Thank you. You guys are the best listeners. And keep in touch. We're going to try to do a show every week. And we're going to try to keep it Galaxy-centric. So if you could send in topics and questions, that would help us kind of build it all out and keep this sinking shipper going. So appreciate you and stick with it. Ed, anything you want to toss in before? Oh, Cosmo SC is taking on shoot, give me half a second.
Cosmo SC2 and then Twizzle Athletic.
So there is at Cosmo COZMO _SC on Twitter, at Athletic Twizzle, and at Barachos AC.
15 seconds.
They're all FIFA Pro Club teams. I'm hoping to get signed for at Athletic Twizzle because old school. Looks like they're going to do a big pro tournament. So if you're interested in pro clubs for FIFA 20, get in touch. Start with at Cosmo _SC. We love you guys. We'll hopefully talk to you next Tuesday. Be well, take care of each other. Keep your social distancing 6 feet at a minimum. Bye.
Bye.
Fuck you. sucking dick, bitch. Woo!
All right, we're clear.
Very nice.
Because you
I
can't
will.
because you can't fade out the music.